one they weren't raised valuing respect. For better or worse, much of our behavior and views on life stem from how we were raised. Until we gain life experience and surround ourselves with all kinds of people, we're kind of limited to what we've seen around the house. If someone's mom or dad didn't value respect, chances are their children won't either. While there's no excuse for someone's disrespectful behavior, the person you're dealing with may have parents who haven't instilled the notion of respect in them. 2. Wanting to be team players. There are additional ways we let other people disrespect our time. For instance, we want to be seen as team players in our work and otherwise. Because of this trait, others may disrespect our time by asking even more of us. They recognize that we want to be a part of the team and they take advantage of it. But the end problem with this is that we have more to do than we can handle. This leads us to be stressed out and unable to accomplish everything we are tasked with. Others then view us as not being productive. We may even get passed over for raises and promotions, all because we want to do our best. It's much the same in our personal lives. When we take on too much because we want to gain the approval of others, we may end up disappointing them instead. What to do about it? Recognize limitations. Wanting to be a team player in and of itself is not a bad thing. However, it is a bad thing when it holds us back or has negative consequences. Instead of trying to do more than we can just to fit in and be team players, we should recognize our limitations. We must respect our own time and know when to ask for help. How do we do that? By keeping an organized schedule of what we must accomplish each day. This way we know how much time we have available for added projects. Additionally, it's perfectly all right to let others know when we have too much on our plates already. Yes, that means risking letting them down. But that is far better than complete failure by being unable to finish projects we take on. 3. They're going through something. You never know what's really going on in someone's head. They may be stressed out of their minds with family drama, or they could be seriously struggling in school. Or maybe they're just dealing with the general anxieties of life. There's still no excuse for their negative behavior, but it may be much deeper than simply going out of their way to make you feel bad. If you can't think of any other reason why they're acting a certain way, it may be worth a conversation to see if they'll open up to you about what's really going on. 4. Stand up for yourself, at least for your self-respect. There are times in life when we need to step in, no matter how rude or ill-tempered someone may be. When someone is being disrespectful towards you, there is nothing wrong with stepping in and telling them what you think of them. No matter how old you are or have become, you have the right to speak up for yourself. A disrespectful person may not realize that their behavior has damaged others' emotional life. If you want to have a successful, happy, and peaceful life, you need to learn how to deal with disrespectful people. This doesn't mean you ignore them or pretend you don't see them. It means standing up for yourself and setting boundaries. It means standing up for what's important to you without trying to make everyone happy. So, it's crucial to protect your self-respect and make them realize their ignorance and their evil nature. 5. Overstepping your boundaries. Not the first time. Everyone's boundaries are different. We can't expect others to read minds and know where we draw our line, the one exception being if the line is universally accepted. Things like felonies fall into this category. We do not need to draw a line at raping a baby because it's never right. Everyone knows it's wrong, and there's no way to justify it. Once you've clearly communicated, it's reasonable to expect them to stay on the right side of the line you just drew. It doesn't matter at all if they find your reasoning to their liking or not. You needn't explain, and certainly aren't required to defend your boundary. For example, if I were repeatedly abused by a person who wore medical scrubs, I may have an emotional reaction, aversion to scrubs. It isn't logical, but that doesn't matter to my amygdala. The boundary crosser doesn't need to believe your response is warranted for you to expect them to wear something other than scrubs around you. What's more, telling is the immediate response to the request. If they do anything other than respond with concern straight out of the gate, you're probably in trouble. I cannot imagine selfishly making it about my minor inconvenience rather than their need to feel safe. Instead of having compassion for your plight, they are indifferent to your needs and are offended by your management. Sometimes they flip the script and try to make your response to their passive-aggressive behavior the problem, not the fact that they knowingly did something you asked them not to do. Like a little kid. Don't let them get away with making your request the problem. You aren't too sensitive, you aren't unreasonable. We all have the right to request and receive tenable accommodation, but we cannot require everyone to handle us with kids' gloves, either. Just like anything, there are limits. In general, however, if you ask someone more than once to do something differently, especially if it isn't something that negatively affects their life, and is more a matter of common courtesy, but they still refuse to comply, rest assured this person doesn't respect you. It's impossible to have a healthy relationship on any level with a person who regularly oversteps. It won't get better. If you think about it, domestic violence is nothing but an extreme example of physical boundary crossing. I used to let people trample my boundaries because I was raised to believe I wasn't allowed to have them. I'm also a people pleaser, which didn't help. Others no longer determine my worth, but I can no longer tolerate the disrespect. Not from without, but from within. I finally love myself enough to speak up and follow through. I no longer allow me to mistreat myself. 6. Learn the power games that they play and play them better. Stop being reactive to their actions as if they never existed. When they talk to you, do not reply or do so with dismissal. Look and talk over them as if they were an ant in your way. Whenever they try to get a rise out of you, do what you'd do if a baby tugged on your hair. Smile playfully and walk away. Few people can stand the insult of not being recognized. Never respond emotionally. In any conflict, the first person to respond with emotion is the lower status victim. Treat every abuse as a business transaction. Speak calmly, do not stutter, and do not use too many words with them. Let them be emotional and look like fools. When they attack in a serious manner, respond casually. When they attack you in a casual manner, respond seriously. This way you assume your frame on the situation instead of letting them push you into their frame. Example 1. Hey man, nice shirt. Do they have those for men too? Lesser than casual. You are being very weird. Don't comment on my clothing anymore. I get the creeps from you too much lately. Lesser than serious. Example 2. You are an idiot. How could you screw this one up so much? You suck. Lesser than serious. Take it easy, buddy, no need to get that emotional. Let's keep it professional. Greater than casual. Remove them from your life. Some people are toxic poison. They are barren land that can never become fertile and green. The only way to deal with them is to remove them from your life as soon as possible, for you will never drive 1 ounce of value or positivity from them. Oh, and in case it wasn't obvious, never ask, beg, or demand respect from them. Respect is earned, not demanded. To ask or demand respect is a low-power move. You need to act and talk in a way that people will naturally assume they must approach you with respect if they are ever to get a reply from you. If you want to be treated with respect, you need to adopt the kind of behavior that makes it unwise to disrespect you. Start playing the game of power before the game of power plays you.